Hi everyone, it's Roger and James here from the What's on Disney Plus podcast. In this week's episode, we're going to be sharing our predictions for Disney Plus Day, which is coming up on November the 12th. We'll also be talking about Dopesick and also the second season of The World According to Jeff Goldblum. Now, before we go any further, a quick bit of housekeeping. If you haven't already done so, make sure you do subscribe on the audio and visual platforms, including YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. You can also go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. You can like, follow, and subscribe, etc. You can also support us through Patreon or YouTube channel members, which helps support the channel, helps pay for all the software that we use to record this and to upload it and all the hosting of the podcast, etc. So a big thank you to Sarah for being at the platinum level. Your support really does mean a lot. And also to Andrew, Elliot, Jacob, Caleb, Red Mars Man, Aero, Andrew, Cody, Darren, Giuseppe, Lester, and Lauren and then we're over on the YouTube. Big hello to Diona, Ben, Raphael, Robert, J Blue, My VCR Still Works, Bina, Joshua, Adam, Dawn, Martin, Jeremy, and Sarah. Now, it is important to note we are recording this a few days earlier than normal due to real life. So therefore, these predictions, there might be things that we talk about because they've actually already been announced. So we'll put that there. That there might be the odd one or two that comes up that we might have that might already been there. But so there's going to be coming on, as I said, on the 12th. So I'm just going to kind of bring up just a little bit of information here of what we can expect on Disney Plus Day. So as I said, it's coming on November the 12th. We're going to be finding out lots of information. We're going to be getting lots of new content. So we're going to be getting like Jungle Cruise, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings will be dropping. We'll have 5 new episodes of The World According to Jeff Goldblum Season 2. We'll be getting a new Simpsons short, a new Lucas short. We're also going to be getting, if you're in the US and Canada, a load of shorts will be dropping, including Frozen Fever. And the host, and internationally, we're going to be getting 2 episodes of Dopesick, which we'll be talking about a little bit later. And there's also going to be a special behind the sort of the legacy of Boba Fett, and a special celebration of the Marvel Cinematic Universe with an exciting look towards the future. There's going to be breaking news, first look, first trailers, exclusive clips, and appearances from Disney Plus creators. Disney Plus on the same day will also be launching in South Korea and Taiwan. So there's going to be lots of stuff coming. Now, we don't yet, as of the time of recording, know how they're going to be presenting this. So we're just going to go with we know there's going to be a special on Disney Plus. It might be live. We don't know yet. So that's just check us out. That we'll have to wait on that one. But we're going to go through them all, and we're going to go through like each of the 6 core brands individually. But kind of, what's your gut saying for Disney Plus predictions, James?
Well, why don't we do it by brand? So, do you want to just do general Disney Plus stuff? Or?
Let's start with the Disney one. Let's start with the Disney one first. What are you expecting?
Well, let's get one of the easy ones out of the way. Probably some details on Night at the Museum series. I'm stealing one of your predictions, I know.
Yes.
But honestly, our predictions are going to be pretty close, I think.
Yeah.
Night at the Museum, we know that one's coming. I think details. I don't think we're going to get even like a sizzle reel or a production reel, but I think we'll get details on it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see a little bit towards that one there. I'm expecting, and this is where I'm going to look at this of us, as in like we follow what goes on. Obviously, me, I'm following this stuff all the time. Got my nose well and truly up against the window, watching what's going on. But this is for your average fan. This is to try and get people to be subscribed for a year, to try and renew their subscriptions, because obviously the 12, all the people that signed up in year 1 and in year 2, they want them to do another year. And so they just want to give you enough incentive to do so, and also to get new ones. So I'm expecting a lot of announcements of stuff that we actually already kind of know about. Things like Stargirl 2, Better Late Than Never, maybe even something about Sneakerella. Some of the movies and shows that we know are either been filming or have already filmed. Maybe as well as something with I think there's a football one that they're filming as well, like in October. So we might see something along those lines. Maybe like High School Musical. I don't know. The trouble is with those, they haven't actually started filming yet. So those are ones that I'm definitely expecting to see. Any other predictions from your point?
Yeah, so I'll do this as a branching one. Yeah. We'll get some details on Baymax. So we know that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
or at least has been alluded to several times. This is we don't know if it's a sequel to the other television Big Hero 6.
I think it's I think it's kind of more from the movie.
I think it's more from the movie, but we might get some details on that. Similarly, I think we'll get an announcement about another animated series based on a movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is something we have not heard rumors about, but I think they found that these work really well. People respond well to continuations, and with absolutely no reasoning at all. I'm going to go with Lady and the Tramp. I think it's got potential as a continuing series. There's a lot you can do with those characters. Obviously, Lady and the Tramp live action was one of the launch titles for Disney Plus, so there's at least a connection there. Again, I'm not basing this on anything. There's no rumors. I'm literally just pulling this from the sky.
See, I'm a bit like in this mode of thinking, they announced so much at last year's Investors Day. It's so far in advance. They announced there's going to be a Tiana series. There's going to be a Moana series. There's going to be Awata, which is like a South African series they're making. So for me, it's a bit like I would be quite nice to have a little bit of an update on what's happening with them, a bit of a teaser, a little bit of maybe a bit of a date, a rough window.
Right.
I'm not expecting as many announcements of like new announcements and stuff. I'm expecting more of like, look what we've been working on and that we can show you. Rather than because the last year's Investors Day was like this, we're doing this, and this. I don't think we're going to get as much of that. I think we're going to be much more like, oh, here's some of the stuff we've already said is coming in 2022, but here's actually what is coming. I think I'm going to be maybe a little bit more focused on just like 2022, less like pushing forward beyond that.
I think the primary focus will be 2022. Obviously, they want people to look at this and go, I need to maintain my subscription through 2022, or I need to subscribe if I'm not already. That is, of course, the main objective. But they do also need to have new news. And the proportion or the ratio between them is going to be skewed very heavily towards stuff we already know about. But they do want to have, we have stuff past 2022, and there's reasons to continue, which is why I think that they will announce something that we don't know about.
Yeah.
But being that we don't know about it, it's kind of hard to predict what it is, which I'm going completely random. There will be some new things. I think that's the broad prediction.
I mean, we've also got, they've been filming Disenchanted over the summer. They're filming Hocus Pocus 2 now. It just feels like that is something that they can actually they can do a quick clip from the set, or they can show us a scene or some, and I feel like that would be a much more like powerful thing than just a logo. I think that's
yes and no, because like it wasn't at Disney Plus Day last year, but for I think it was one of the investor calls, they literally just did a whole bunch of Star Wars logos. Here's Ahsoka.
That was the Investors Day last year.
It was Investor Day, and Republic Commando or whatever that one that no longer exists called, and
well, there was the Rangers. I think Rangers of the New Republic, because they've not mentioned anything since that one. But at the top, we still don't know if it's actually gone, because it was assumed that it was about somebody that was in the Mandalorian, but it was never officially announced. So that one could be carrying on with maybe Bo-Katan or something like that. And we don't yet know, but I mean, we'll leave the Star Wars ones for the Star Wars section. But anything else that popped up from your mind for the Disney side?
In terms of things that have already been talked about, I think we'll get an update on Percy Jackson.
Well, we're getting like new updates. So I think we're going to get the official green light that day. I think we're going to get it is going ahead, because they've been like, we're nearly there. We're getting producers and directors and we're going casting. Well, I think we're going to get an official one. I wouldn't be at all surprised if maybe like Doogie gets a second season announcement on that day. It kind of a little bit of and I'm really hoping we see something about Ink and Paint, which was a show that they announced before Disney Plus even launched. There's a few other ones like that they've talked about in the past, but like Ink and Paint could be quite fun. Maybe even that Oswald animated series that's been floating around for a long time that we've still not heard anything. But I'm very much in this kind of mindset at the minute that I'm just not expecting a vast amount of unknown news. I think I'm just maybe after that water stream a few months ago with the streamer day. It was just like where we just watched running water for 4 hours. I have got my expectations probably a little bit lower down.
I think that there is less of a focus on the Disney properties, and when we say Disney, we're talking more like the Disney Channel live action shows. I think there's an understanding that there is a core audience that enjoys those. Doogie obviously has its base. It's not very vocal, but it's got its base. Mighty Ducks and things of that nature. So they don't bring in the headlines the way that the Star Wars and Marvel titles do, but there are people watching them. And most of us grew up watching at least some of the Disney Channel shows, whether that would be like That's So Raven or Hannah Montana or even the Disney animated stuff like DuckTales and Rescue Rangers.
Yeah. One of my things I want to, this is probably the last one from the Disney side. What I'm really hoping for, and I'm not entirely convinced it's going to happen, but I would like basically an announcement regarding like the Disney Channel of what they're doing with that like release schedule of like a plan to kind of give us a little bit more of a, this is how it's going to work. It's like, and this is like a standard bearer for the whole Disney Channel. I mean, I love it for National Geographic as well, but I'd really like just a kind of, you're going to get it, then every time there's something new on the Disney Channel, you're going to get it on the next Wednesday or Friday, on the next, I would like some kind of, or next day or same day, I would like some kind of like just general idea of giving us a little bit more of a standard, so fans can know, because we got like the Christmas movie coming up. We know it's arriving a week later. It would just be nice to have a little bit more clarity of what's going on, and I do think Disney are missing a treat by not using the Disney Channel content as original content for Disney Plus. Not necessarily original, but at least like this is brand new content that's dropping onto Disney Plus that you can watch somewhere else, but it's still brand new. I feel like they're missing a treat by not using it, especially internationally, because essentially these shows are Disney Plus originals because you can't watch them anywhere else. The only place you can watch Under Wrap and Christmas Again is on Disney Plus in like Australia and the UK. So why would you not want to push that?
Actually, that reminded me of something. I think we might get an announcement for a new Muppets title. Either a movie, because I think the Haunted Mansion did pretty well, and I think people are looking forward to that Christmas special. I know that's a previously released Christmas special, but most of us have never seen that one because it was exclusive to D23 members. Or a continuation of the Muppet series that they started, or even just a new like Muppet Shorts kind of thing, where it's not even a series. It's just like, here's Gonzo and Rizzo riffing for 3 minutes on some topical subject. I think we might get some Muppets.
I just feel it does feel like with the Muppets, like the Haunted Mansion kind of hit the right tone, which something like the Muppets. I remember the Muppets, everyone being disappointed with, and then Muppets now everyone being, but the Muppets Haunted Mansion really seemed to just. I didn't see hardly anybody not excited about it, but also just the amount of people talking about it. I just kind of knew that it was a hit. You could just kind of tell. But let's now shift gears. Pixar. I don't know if we're going to get as much on Pixar because they're a little bit slower in terms of churning stuff out. I'm not sure if we'll see like maybe confirmation of Turning Red and Lightyear like will be on Disney Plus after because there's a kind of thing with the theatrical releases. I'm not sure they're going to push that very much because they're still very much in the line that they want you to go to cinemas. So I don't know whether or not they'll get a kind of a confirmation that they come to Disney Plus. But I think we'll get an update on the Cars animated series that was supposed to come this year. Whether or not that will be dropping there, maybe like January, February time. That might be a good time to drop it.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get much new from Pixar, but Pixar typically announces stuff pretty far out, so we already know about them. They'll probably replay the Lightyear trailer that obviously dropped fairly recently, so it wouldn't make too much sense for them to do something else with it. Potentially, not necessarily a sizzle reel. It's hard to do a sizzle reel with an animated thing, but maybe a little behind the scenes thing with some animators or the writer talking about it. But really short. We're not talking like.
I'm hoping maybe some more Spark shorts. A little bit like these are the ones coming. In the next 6 months or something like that. Just a few little bites,
and maybe not even titles. Just an acknowledgement that they will continue.
Yeah. Right. Shifting now over to Marvel. One of the big ones. What are you thinking with Marvel?
Well, let's get the obvious one out of the way up front. Hawkeye will have a release day trailer. Obviously, the first 2 episodes are dropping that day, but they will remind you.
They're dropping on the 24th. They're dropping 2 weeks later.
The 24th, that's right. Sorry. They will have a release Hawkeye trailer. I don't think that's...
they'll have a clip or some kind of... something new.
So moving on from the obvious one, we'll probably get we'll get confirmation on some of the upcomings. What I would really like is a release date for either She-Hulk or Miss Marvel. We know those are coming up. We know those are probably the next two in line. We just don't know when.
Yeah, I had put down that we're probably going to get a Miss Marvel trailer, and I think we're going to get a date. And I'm just going to put this one March. I'm going to put this one in March, March. Because Book of Boba Fett will end in the middle of February. Give them a couple of weeks, get into, and they're gonna want something for Marvel fans to be like, here's, because they did it with Loki. They kind of gave us a little bit in advance. So I just feel like if they said it's coming in March, that would give them, and they can kind of roll it through to nearly Easter at that point a little bit. Or they do this. I don't know about She-Hulk because it's a little bit obviously later in terms of filming, but they have delayed the Marvels, so they might want to push back Miss Marvel a little bit. But I think something is going to either She-Hulk could fit in there. I think Moon Knight is a little bit later down the line, but I'm thinking March we're going to get something because with the Book of Boba Fett, there's no reason there for January to beginning of February. Maybe Valentine's, or the end of February, but I just feel like March feels like the natural slot.
I mean, they already moved Hawkeye out of the way of Boba Fett by giving it.
Well, the thing is as well, is if they do it in March, they'll be out the way for Star Wars Day.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be kind of, that would be the way I'd look at it, because, well, there'll be someone else. But, and I think we'll get that. And I think we'll see some scissor reel of She-Hulk and Moon Knight. Any other things?
I'm going to go shot in the dark here. Might as well. We'll get confirmation of one of the series that's been rumored. And I'm going to say it's Nova. Because that one's been batted around for a while. But I mean, anyone who's been paying attention to the rumor mill, and I barely pay attention to it, but I still hear most of them. There's a lot of rumored titles in development. I think Nova's got the best shot at it, though.
I'm thinking Werewolf by Night might be the because that's a Disney Plus movie or Halloween special. So I think that would be most. I don't know about Echo because I think they might want to wait until Hawkeye's done and then been introduced before they do that one. But I mean, we might even see a bit of scissor reel for Secret Invasion because they're filming that right now. So they could very easily just have Nick Fury just look into the camera and say something, and then that's kind of, or here's we're just filming this right now, and just, I feel like that we've got that. I mean, I think the Secret Invasion, we're going to see something from it.
Well, you could have
Andor.
You could have Nick Fury staring into the camera, and then he turns into the Skrull who was pretending to be him in the Spider-Man movie. Yeah. Werewolf by Night. I know that, well, we don't know much about it, but it wouldn't surprise me if it actually moved over to Hulu here in the States and they made it a little more adult. But we'll see.
Yeah, so I think that's a prime example of something they can use. But I just feel like, with Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, and Moon Knight, I feel like that's your 2022 lineup. I just feel like that's 3 seasons. We've had what we had this year. We've had 4.
Plus, right, but at least some of that was pushed back from not being able to release in 2020.
I mean, I personally think 3 series a year is good, and then we're getting 3 movies as well. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if we saw if they said What If is returning next summer or something as well, because we know they're already working on it. But yeah, I'm not setting my hopes up for the barrage of movies and series that they announced at last year's event, because it's like they announced them all, but they were so far away. It was just because I mean, Moon Knight might not even hit our screens till November, so next year. So it's still a long way off.
Moon Knight would be a good candidate for October. Get some of them in for Halloween. It has traditionally been a horror-esque series, definitely much more mental than physical horror, but still one with a long tradition of that kind of storytelling. So having it for Halloween next year does make sense.
Yeah, and you could easily see She-Hulk dropping. I think there's 9 episodes of that. You can see that then dropping maybe June, the Loki slot. I'm just kind of looking and going, we're gonna fit in around Star Wars. So it's I don't know. I think expectations again. It's just and I think now like I said, they've got those 4 that they can show us because they filmed them. You've got Secret Invasion filming right now. You could even maybe throw us a little bit of an Ironheart because she's filming stuff for Black Panther Wakanda Forever right now, so they could maybe show us a clip of her doing something. I don't know, just kind of like I'm looking more like what are they doing and what have they done, rather than thinking like 2025 shows. I don't know, because it's about selling it for this next year.
Yeah, well, the problem with doing predictions is we have to predict new stuff rather than all our predictions are they're showing us the stuff that we already know.
Well, it's a bit tricky because the thing is a bit like it is. I just feel like if they're announcing stuff for 2024, 2025, I just don't think that's going to. It's like, yeah, they can announce stuff and they can work on bits and pieces, but you get a little bit like it's so far in advance. What people go, well, that's years away. I don't want to. I think if they showed us 5 clips of stuff currently like coming, and with trailers or I don't even, it just was just a little snippet. I don't think we're even getting trailers for them all. I just feel like that would be much more exciting for people to know that you're getting them.
Yeah, but you do go both ways on that. Sometimes with you're announcing stuff in 2025. That's so far out it doesn't even matter. But at the same time, it's nice for other people look at it as, well, okay, I'm glad that you have a plan for 2025. Yeah, it's a long way off, but I'm glad to know that you're thinking that far out and that you're confident enough in some of those plans to start announcing.
I mean, I'd love them to say like Captain America 4 is a Disney Plus series. I'd love them to kind of shift it and just go like no, we're not going to do the movie. We're going to do it as a series, because I feel like that would be. I think that's a much better way of doing it, and give them a bit of time. I enjoyed it so much. Like I just want more of that. I don't. We need to go back to the big screen. I quite like the series.
And as long as you're not talking about like something that's super special effects heavy, we're not talking like Captain Marvel or one of the Avengers movies or things like that. In a lot of cases, the small screen, the 6-episode approach works a lot better. I think we said this when Black Widow came out. I was like, you know what? I watched it in the theater, wasn't bad, but this would have been better as a 5 or 6 episode Disney Plus series. Let us meet these characters that we're just learning about.
Okay, so on that note, I'm going to say a Yana series. There's going to be some Black Widow series with her. Yeah. Right, let's shift now over to Star Wars.
Really fast. It'll either be a Yelena series or Thunderbolts, which we think she's being lined up for. And there, of course, renewed rumors of the Thunderbolts being in production as well.
Yeah, so definitely on that one. I don't think we'll be getting like a Young Avengers or anything like that. Maybe a Patriot series, but I don't know.
They're slowly introducing the characters for Young Avengers. Hawkeye, Patriot, and then even the twins from WandaVision. But they're still
Scar as well. Could they have Scar? Is he a member? Because he's, I don't know.
They haven't. Well, maybe out of She-Hulk, because now if they're expanding the Hulk lineup of characters, you could definitely bring him in. But they haven't really. They haven't really brought that character, or Rick Jones, who would be kind of the tangential character as well. Anyway,
so let's shift now over to Star Wars, shifting gears. So what are you expecting to be revealed?
Again, let's knock out the very obvious one first and just get it out of the way. Boba Fett trailer, get people start hyped up for that.
I mean, if you're going to drop the trailer and you've not done it by now, and it's coming in December, Disney Plus Day, that will kill it. That will just. That and a Miss Marvel trailer will just set off Disney Plus Day to be a perfect day anyway. But yeah, so you got to be thinking we're going to get some stuff for that one.
Yeah, no, so let's just get that out of the way. That's the most.
Do you think they might do it earlier though, to kind of give it its own day? Maybe like drop it like the day before or a couple of days before, just to kind of get it out the way, because it's going to be too big and it'll get swallowed up with the other things. So
that's certainly a possibility. I could see it dropping like a day or two early, just to let the buzz. Plus, you drop something that big name. You're not just advertising Boba Fett, you're also advertising, hey, we're doing a whole bunch of announcement 2 days from now. So yeah, I could see that. I hadn't considered
or even maybe like full trailer coming Friday kind of. I don't know. Just
that seems more likely. We'll do a teaser trailer on Wednesday and full trailer on Friday. But either way, Boba Fett is going to make an appearance somehow. Yeah. So let's move to actual prediction.
Yeah, so I think we're going to get next year. I think we're going to get Obi-Wan Kenobi coming in for Star Wars Day. It's a little bit of a shorter season, so I think we're going to see either a trailer or a scissor reel with a confirmation maybe of Star Wars Day. And also, I think Andor. I mean, that's a 12-episode series. They finished filming it months ago. I wouldn't be at all surprised if that is a winter series. Maybe like October, November. Again, like slide around whatever Moon Knight's doing. But this is where I'm looking at, like with the Marvel and Star Wars now, of going, well, if say from my we got Book of Boba Fett going through to February, then you're gonna have Miss Marvel, then you have for May you have Obi-Wan Kenobi, June you have She-Hulk that takes you through till what's that, September. Maybe you drop Moon Knight then, and then like the last 3 months of the year is then Andor. That's pretty much your whole year's lineup of an episode a week. That's quite a that's quite a good year compared to where we've only got one episode of Book of Boba Fett this year.
and even so, this is still an improvement over 2020 either way. The release schedule will be interesting to see. I could almost see it being between She-Hulk and Moon Knight, or at least overlap. If it's between them, then it's going to have to overlap because of the lengths involved with these series. But I think it's an end of the year one. We had a sizzle reel for it previously, so I would expect it to show up again.
I mean, I feel like Ahsoka, obviously they're filming Mandalorian season 3 now, but I don't think we're going to get that until 2024. I think that one's a bit far, because I just can't see how they can drop 3 or 4 seasons in a year. I mean, we've gone from one. I mean, this year we've not had any. So I just feel like,
because Mandalorian season 2 ended before the year.
Ended before Christmas. So we've only literally getting one episode of Boba Fett this year. In terms of like the super major releases, we obviously had Star Wars Visions and we had Bad Batch as well. So it's not like it's been a complete Star Wars content drought, but compared to the Marvel lineup with Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision, it definitely pales in comparison. One of the things we have to account for, though, are they going to continue to want to keep the Marvel and Star Wars titles not stepping on each other, or with some longer series coming in like She-Hulk and Andor, are they just going to have to go, all right, there's going to have to be some overlap on these? I think they'll do with what they've been doing with this double episode drop at the beginning. I think that'll be what they could, so it'll shorten them down. Like if She-Hulk is 9 episodes and they do the same thing they did with WandaVision, where they drop 2 episodes, then it's suddenly then down to a 7-week show. So and if they do the same with Andor, 2 episodes, and then they got 10 weeks and 11 weeks to get through. I just don't think they're going to. The fact that they shifted Hawkeye for the Book of Boba Fett says to me they don't. And they don't. If they've got one of them dropping every week or nearly every week, that will keep most adults happy, or keep majority of their fan base, and that will be what will keep people subscribed. If they turn around and go, you've got this show, and give you rough, I would say a rough outline. If they go Book of Boba Fett, January, February, I don't know. I don't think they have to get into the semantics of date, but I think just a window is probably a good thing.
Yeah, no, we'll get dates for stuff that's coming out soon. Soon being a relative term, but stuff towards the end of the year, it'll just be winter 2022 or I guess winter 2022 would actually be January, February, March. But end of the year 2022. I
mean, I can see this is a bit of Mando, maybe going, we're on the set now, it'll be coming in early 2023 kind of thing. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we get a trailer or announcement for Bad Batch season 2, because obviously we know they've been doing stuff with that right now. So I think that would be, and if they're going to announce a season 2 of Visions, that would be a good little announcement to do. And there's been other shows they've been kind of talking about for a while, a brand new series maybe, but then they've got Star Wars Celebration in May. So they've kind of got to hold stuff back. And I think if they can drop those 4, if they drop Obi-Wan, Andor, Book of Boba Fett, and Bad Batch and Visions, I think that's a really good lineup.
I think they might touch on some of the other titles that were announced last time. Just kind of, this one's still coming, or things like that. Obviously, no major announcements. It would be nice if they gave us a status update on the Republic. I keep blanking on the name, but
I think New Republic, isn't it?
Rangers of the Republic. That's right. If they're still going to go through with that, if they're going to repurpose it as a Bo-Katan series, or if they're just going to be it's completely new characters. Boom, new characters completely. Speaking of other things in the same area, I don't think we'll get anything for Rogue Squadron. I think they're going to save that for Star Wars Day, especially since it's a movie, not a series. So it's not going to come immediately to Disney Plus.
Yeah, and actually, I just sort of thought something from the Lucasfilm side, Willow.
That's
so
true.
You forgot, they've been filming that over the summer here in the UK. So that's another series that they could kind of throw in there. That kind of to me signs more into the Disney side. So then that's another big series they could drop next year.
I had honestly forgotten about Willow. But yeah, an update on that would be great. The movie was really good. It was a lot of fun, and I think people are looking forward to that one once they remember it's coming, because we knew about Willow before Disney Plus even launched.
So I think, but I mean, you start lining in like now of going 3 Star Wars, 3 Marvel, Willow, a couple of Disney ones here and there. It suddenly looks a nice, healthy lineup for 2022 to keep people engaged. Shifting now, let's talk National Geographic. I think we'll get a Welcome to Earth release date because it's coming in December, so we're going to get a date for that one. Anything else that you think of?
I'm going to guess there's going to be a Right Stuff season 2 announcement. We know that's not coming.
I think we're going to get, like, there's a few shows that they announced at the Investors Day that haven't come about yet. Limitless was one with like Chris Hemsworth. There was a real American documentary. There was a Bug's Life. There's a few things that they announced last year, so I wouldn't be at all surprised if we kind of got a bit of a show of what was going on there. I'd like to again see what they did with the Disney Channel of like start utilizing their other shows like that they release every week and kind of start using that a little bit more. I think start getting like episodes of National Geographic dropping weekly. That would be quite nice. You start getting, instead of dropping the whole of Port Protection Alaska at once or the whole of The Incredible Dr. Poe, if they could start doing weekly releases on that stuff, I think that would help really like bulk out their. It's spreading it out a little bit, but it would maybe give them all a little bit more use. I just feel like it's just not utilizing that weekly content enough with just keeping it on television.
And just reminding national people that National Geographic exists. It still ends up being the one where people are like, oh right, they're National Geographic documentaries on here or drama shows like The Right Stuff. Yeah, no, they're there. Yeah. They're available.
I'm looking forward to the Hot Zone season 2, which is coming over Thanksgiving. All about like the anthrax attacks of like 9/11. So just after it. So I'm looking. I think that is coming to National Geographic first, but yeah, no, I mean it'd be nice to get something there, some more drama series, because some of the stuff that they've been putting out has been some really good bits and pieces.
I am hoping for a drama series. I don't know what it would be. Obviously, they did The Right Stuff, which covered space, so I don't think they would do another space drama series, but something. Some drama series, scripted show from National Geographic would definitely be welcome.
To be honest, it reminded me I need to finish off Hot Zone. We've been so caught up. We've been watching Married at First Sight Australia every night, so it's just kind of
a little bit of a tone shift.
I don't know. It's just me like she finishes work, we just want something to chill out. So that's been a little bit of that. So let's shift now to Star. So this obviously will affect internationally. These will be Hulu stuff. We're obviously going. I don't know how they're going to do this, but I would imagine these might come through like social media announcements or just in the like some confirmation of some of the shows like Queens. I mean, I know it's coming to Canada. The Solar Opposites Christmas special, I wouldn't be at all surprised if that one gets confirmed for a date. Maybe the Wonder Years. A few of these shows that kind of have already been out on ABC, start using them. Same thing with some of the FX shows. It would make a little bit more sense of them like showcasing like when they're coming, especially some of the contracts are running out. I'm all over the news this past week. Ryan Reynolds has been over here like filming for the Wrexham show that they're for FX, which will be on Disney Plus internationally. And then the Kardashian series, that would be quite nice if we found out some of that, or maybe some updates on Pistol and the Old Man. I think they're going to be pushing the Disney bundle, so I wouldn't be at all surprised if we get a little bit of like these shows are coming to. And I don't know if we're going to get trailers. I think they're going to try. I don't think they're going to get into too much, but I think there will be some announcements of some of the stuff just to feed Disney Plus for like December, January, February, maybe, and just highlight a few shows coming. It's going to be tricky with Star, because they're not even like promoting them now as Star Originals. So it's going to be strange how they do that one.
I don't think there'll be much of a presence.
No.
I think Disney Plus Day, for better or worse, is going to have a heavy American focus. The primary audience that they're targeting is Americans, and of course, the Star stuff will be Hulu instead. And this is Disney Plus Day. They don't really want to be pushing Hulu all that much. They will have some announcements. I did mention earlier, I think Werewolf by Night has a chance of being a Hulu/Star thing if they want to go a little bit mature with it, make it not like a full-on slasher flick, but make it a little bit more mature for Halloween. I could see them doing that. Plus, if they put it on Hulu, then it doesn't really conflict with Moon Knight if they decide to do that in the Halloween season as well. They don't really compete with each other directly in the American market. European a bit different, but
we're getting Hitmonkey in November, so that would give us something a little bit different to go alongside Hawkeye.
Also true.
So I don't know. I think Star's a bit more tricky. I think we're going to get some announcements and some teasers, but it'll mainly be through like social media. I mean, I can't see them doing it. I mean, we don't we don't know how they're going to do it, but I think there'll be a few surprises to keep us all engaged as well with some of the shows that are coming up. I think just a confirmation of some of the names of the shows would probably be enough, just to keep a lot of some images on Twitter, and just go, this show's coming in 2022, and this show's coming in 2022, and this is coming in, and you throw them out on social media. That will work quite nicely.
Give us The Gifted season 3 while you're at it. I mean, I know it's
That's not bad. It's not bad.
I enjoyed it. The season 1 kind of got off to a little bit of a rocky start. Season 2 was much better. I am sad it's gone, and
Wonder's
obviously
sister in there. It's great.
What was that?
You got Wonder's sister in there.
That's true.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. I mean, we've obviously not touched on the X-Men at all. I don't think there's any sort of X titles, mutant titles coming out. They won't be announced in Disney Plus Day. That would be a huge surprise, a huge content generator if they did do that. But I'm not expecting anything X-Men.
The thing is, as well, is we've got next year they got Star Wars Celebration, they got D23, they got San Diego Comic Con. They're gonna want to come back with some big kind of things, and they made all the announcements 2 years ago, and they kind of all got paused. I mean, that's the way I look at it, is you kind of got to look at everything that got announced in like 2019. We're only really like 6 months into it, because we just lost 18 months, and while it all feels along, well, we've known about these for years, but everything stopped. So it's gonna be tricky. Okay, so let's talk now some other surprises. So let's talk a little bit more. What else do you think is going to happen on the day?
Yeah, this is where it really gets into speculative, doesn't it? Well, we just mentioned the X-Men and not happening. If I was going to do a surprise announcement, I might try to throw something with the Fantastic Four out there on the Marvel side. So this is a wild, completely off the wall thing. But if I wanted to generate some news, talking about the Fantastic Four or even just Doctor Doom would generate some stuff. Is it going to happen? Probably not.
What about a new Marvel Studios animated show?
A new one?
A brand new one with... I don't think it'll have... Yeah, see, I don't think it'll be necessarily... I don't think characters we're not used to, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if we had some brand new Marvel show with Iron Man or something like that in. That's... I don't know. I just feel like this would be a good opportunity to throw out. Something to get our teeth into other than What If.
Yeah, the obvious choice there is Spider-Man, because apparently Marvel loves to relaunch Spider-Man animated shows every couple of years. Plus, since it would be an animated show and not a movie, I believe that means they would own the complete rights to it. That Sony does not own the animated rights. So that would be a thing for them.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be a great one.
It would be nice if they did like a lesser known character, but Spider-Man's an obvious draw. Fantastic Four, Iron Man, those are all big ones. They had the Guardians of the Galaxy show up until recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, my guess would be Spider-Man, just because Spider-Man is Marvel's Batman. They can never not have a Spider-Man animated show for some reason.
Well, all I know right now is Spidey and his amazing friends is having a massive. My two nephews have completely fallen in love with Spider-Man. But between that and the last couple of months, between that and I think the superhero squad is completely just they've just completely fallen in love with it.
Is the superhero squad still coming out? I thought that.
I don't know. I think it's just they just found it on YouTube, and because I mean a couple of years ago I gave them boxfuls of toys, and they've been sat there. They found them, and they know the characters there, so they're so they're all into that. But that's pretty cool. I think on the day, we've already had a little bit of some sneak peeks. For example, like Enchanted. Might be a surprise kind of legacy content. We know we've already been confirmed for some countries. It might have already been announced by now, but maybe Enchanted is a big Disney Plus day. Also, Zorro. They recently got released in Latin America. So I think a few little library content drops just to kind of keep some of the legacy. I mean, I would love if they like shadow drop, like, oh yeah, here's a load of Disneyland shows from the 50s or something really kind of for the older fans to get into, and if they could just announce a couple of shows coming over the next couple of months that people keep asking for, just to, as much as I don't think legacy content is important enough for Disney Plus, because I think the new stuff is what grabs attention. They're gonna need a few little like nuggets are just going to go, oh, this stuff is coming soon, or we've heard your feedback, these shows are coming, just to kind of give people a little bit of something to look forward to.
I think along a similar line of thinking, not exactly legacy content, but bringing in some of the international content that hasn't yet been announced for over here. So we're not talking about Star content. Obviously, that's not going to happen unless there's a merger with Hulu, but some of those shows that have been made specifically for other countries, the Netherlands football team, soccer for my fellow Americans, that could make a jump over it.
That one word Feyenoord, which there might be a second season. There's a few floating around. I think, but I mean, the fact that we're getting that Latin America one that day on Disney Plus Day, I think is a good sign going forward. But yeah, so I think there's so much there to announce that's really going to grab everyone's attention. But like I said, it's setting expectations, and I think we've got to just keep reminding ourselves of, whatever they announce, there's always going to be people that wanted more, people that wanted the Earth, and there's still going to be people that will, if you're not expecting anything, I think we've gone probably a little bit more safer on some of our predictions, because it feels a little bit like, because this is honestly, I mean, what I feel, honestly, is what they're going to announce. There's no point, just pulling out characters like left, right, and center and go, they're going to do this. Like, well, I just don't. This is what I believe they're going to do.
And this year in particular, you kind of got that. We've mentioned it several times already. The COVID situation kind of pushed everything back by a significant margin. So there wasn't much advancement on the stuff that was announced previously. Yeah. So it's really like, we announced these before, but now we can actually start moving forward with them. So here's some updates for them rather than new stuff.
I mean, I think that if everything that we've said come in 2022, it's just an incredible year. It's a big, massive improvement on 2020, and then a good improvement, because 2021's been a bit of an odd one. If I take, I mean, we've had some good shows. We had like Big Shot. We've had the Mysterious Benedict Society. We've had the Marvel series, but the movies have been really lacking. I mean, as of right now, we've only had Luca and Flora and Ulysses. It's literally it. Yeah. I mean, we've literally had 2 movies this year. I mean, we know we've got 2 more coming up later this year with Diary of a Wimpy Kid and Home Alone, Sweet Home Alone thingamajiggy. But yeah, I mean, really lacking. So I would like a little bit more of an update on what they're doing with the movies, maybe some Searchlight stuff that they're working on. But yeah, so there we go. So that's our predictions, which I think is pretty good. Be interested to see what we get right and wrong on there. There's going to be some there we do. But before we head off, so let's talk about a couple of Disney Plus Day releases. So Dopesick is going to be coming to Disney Plus internationally around the world with 2 episodes, and then new episodes dropping every Wednesday afterwards. I recently went to London, part of the British London Film Festival. Disney held a special European premiere. So I got to watch the first 2 episodes in a theatre, which was great. It was a real like old-fashioned like London ones. I mean, it was that posh. Soda was done in you had to have it in a glass. It was just like it wasn't like plastic. This was a posh place. So I got to see the first 2 episodes on the big screen. I've also been lucky enough as well to watch the 3rd episode that Disney sent me to watch as well, which is coming out, as I said, on the Wednesday. In the US, they're already like a month ahead. They got the episodes back, so you've been able to watch it anyway. But I've watched 3 episodes. I love this series. This is it's because I didn't know really anything about this problem that was going on in the US. I was wasn't too familiar with it, and I found it fascinating. The level of this is such a well-made drama series. Having Michael Keaton, Zara Dawson, can't think of his surname, but I'm just really enjoying this series. I can't wait to watch it each week when it's dropping. It's another thing. I've got a taste of it, and I want to watch a bit more of it because it's just a really well made series.
Would you say you're addicted to it? This is a really good series. At the time of this recording, I believe in America it's up to episode 6 should be dropping the week that we're dropping this one. I've seen the first 2 episodes. I've not seen episode 3, but yeah, this is really well done. It's about the opioid epidemic that's been crossing America and how at least part of its origin comes in the release of OxyContin in the late 90s. And it's a trip and not a good kind.
And it's so, I mean, obviously, like for me being here in the UK, we have a very different medical system. We have the NHS. We don't really get like the whole concept of your choice and what you want to have, and the drug companies and stuff obviously they would put on things at hospitals and things, but it's at a very different level because of the customer doesn't really have a choice in that same thing of what they get. And there's been a lot of legislation has come in to try and stop events and giveaways and like benefits and stuff. But there has been problems and stuff. But generally, we have a different program, and it's frightening. It's absolutely frightening to watch because I'm looking like as an outsider coming in at the story and just going, how did you let this happen? How did the FDA? And then you hear like, well, we've got like it's an honor system because we've got tens of thousands of applications and we don't actually go through them all. Whoa. I know it's just fascinating. I mean, I think watching it on the big screen, I felt like I was watching a movie. It was movie quality. I kind of come out there going, wow, that did not feel like a TV series.
No, it's definitely cinematic quality. The storytelling, the cinematography, all of it is just really well done. It makes sense for it to be a series because we're following several different characters here, and not just several characters, but several different timelines, which is interesting.
I don't like the way how they jump around the time. It's not very clear. It's because some of them are a little bit. That's my one little. Annoyance.
Yeah, so we'll jump into that in a second. But basically, it's not The Witcher, which I'm currently watching, where there are time jumps, but it doesn't tell you there are time jumps. You don't realize that things are happening at vastly different times. It does come up with a little screen, and it scrolls across to show you what year you're in, 1996 or 2003 or whatever, and there's a story going on in each where like 96, you can see the boardroom execs. How do we market OxyContin? And Michael Keaton's character being like, yeah, wow, this is something I want to drug. The people I give it to think this is fantastic. And things seem optimistic. And then you've got Rosario Dawson's investigation going on. And then the investigation by the suits in Washington, who are now like interviewing Rosario Dawson because she has to drop it at some point, but we're also watching her do it. And it does jump around a bit, and it's definitely kind of like maybe be a little bit more clear about what's happening when and to who.
I think in the 3rd episode is a little bit clearer, but I did that was my one little annoyance with the first 2 episodes, was that it was like it was like, where has this happened or not? But because again, you're jumping around a little bit, but yeah, I can't say this enough. This is such a high quality series. If you are international Disney Plus, if you're an adult and you enjoy this, is, I mean, I wouldn't even say it's like a medical drama. It's a lawsuit. It's just an extremely well made series. I mean, this is going to be, when I look back at like shows of 2021, this is going to be, I think, in the top tier of, when we look at like what show was some of the best. This one's going to be in I think in one of our highlights.
Yeah, just the quality of it in general, the subject that it's tackling, the way it's presenting it, as with any series of this kind, where it's a fictionalized version of real life events. Some things have been probably enhanced for a dramatic effect, but it's probably close enough to what happened that you can kind of just like, the warning signs were there and people just ignored them.
Well, I mean, it's that kind of thing. In fact, it was all done. It was all they all went through the legal process, and it was all done. Well, that was it. I assume so.
We thought they went through the legal process anyway, but it seems like it was a little bit weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that thing as well of like, the owner of the family business. I mean, he seems quite like eccentric but he's also just got a big thing on his shoulder that he wants to prove that he's, worthy and it's just a fascinating series. I really can't recommend this enough. I'm thoroughly enjoying it and can't wait to catch the other part of the series now, because I'm just like, I've had a little taste. I've been on 10 and 20 and they 40. Been. Yeah,
you gotta double the dose and go up to 40, and then 80. It is worth pointing out, it's not entirely bleak. It's not entirely just like oppressive. This is a horrible thing that happened. There are moments of humor in there as well. I'm particularly thinking of, I think it's in the second episode. They get called into the Department of Justice, and he's like, "Why are you investigating Purdue?" And it's like, "What we're investigating? Why are you after the chicken man?" It's like, No, not that Purdue. The other Purdue.
Yeah, that's something that gets lost in translation because it doesn't mean anything. It's like if they turn around and say Bernard Matthew, then you might be like,
that was very specifically an American thing. Purdue chicken is like, you can't go into a grocery store without seeing Purdue chicken, and the DOJ being like, "Why are you investigating Purdue chicken?" No, we're investigating Purdue Pharma. Completely different company.
Yeah, I really just this is like one of the top series, and if you're on Hulu, watch it now. Just get in there and watch it. This is a top quality show, and just seeing Michael Keaton in a TV series just feels weird.
Yeah, no, he does a good job with it though.
Yeah, but he's a likable doctor. He's a likable doctor with it all. And like in the third episode, something happens there that it's just like. It's just like and I like that. It's just the thing of him being he's just a doctor that he just wants to look after his people. He's been duped by the company, but he's doing it out of he's not as far as he's just following the normal procedure, and he's still being cautious with it. But I like it. I can't wait to see where it goes, because I mean, some of you might be listening now going, you're a few episodes ahead of us and be like, but yeah, just great.
Well, Michael Keaton's character in particular, like it's very good that they brought in a big name, a really good actor for that one, because there's a lot of internal conflict with that character, which he's getting across really well, because you can see it. He's like, I don't really buy your claims. This seems too good to be true. There's got to be a problem, and that his training, his knowledge is conflicting with, no, look, the FDA made a special label just for this drug to say that it's not addictive. And so you can see that conflict within that character going, what I know versus what they're telling me and what I'm seeing. And not all of it agrees, but I want to believe that this works. And of course, the first couple of patients that he's got are going like, no, this is amazing. Even as we're seeing the side effects start to kick in as well.
Yeah. But yeah, it's in the third episode it starts kicking into it. But yeah, I'm just thoroughly enjoying it. Shifting gears again, now onto a National Geographic series, which is coming out on Disney Plus Day, which is the World According to Jeff Goldblum. We're getting 5 episodes, so they're not doing the week release. So there'll be more episodes coming in 2022. So we'll be getting one on monsters, one on magic, one on dance. There's one of I'm trying to think what else. One on fireworks, and then there was another one about dogs. You got to do a dogs episode. I mean, that's just. I mean, you're probably going to hear my dog snoring away through this podcast.
Actually, not this one.
No.
The dog hasn't been. The dog has not been present.
I literally have two dogs like around my feet, sleeping away. But yeah, so this one here. So James hasn't seen these ones yet because I've seen them a little bit early on. If you liked the first season, you're going to like this season. If you didn't like the first season, you're not going to like this. The thing is with his way of presenting is that it's just in wonderment and shock and awe over everything he sees, and it's like like he's never seen anything before in his life, and he reacts to things. I really enjoyed the magic episode because he had Penn and Teller in there, and he was reacting to magic, and they were showing. One of the things I loved about it was they had one where they're tracking his eyes while he's watching a magic trick. So they're like showing you the science of like what magicians are doing, and then doing stuff with their sleight of hand. But because they're distracting your eye, he said you could keep doing this over and over again. You know how the trick's working, but your eye is just your brain is. And I thought that was fascinating. I really enjoyed that episode. There was another one with fireworks, which I really enjoyed the whole drone aspect and how they were building together all these firework displays. I wasn't so keen on the dance episode. I thought that was a weak episode. Wasn't so keen on that one. The monsters episode was a bit. It's like some of the stuff with like scary houses and stuff like that. It looked like he had a lot of fun making that one, but there was a whole thing with them just trying to track down a Bigfoot in the forest. And it was just really, that felt a bit silly. And then the dog episode was a little bit like A Tale of Two Halves. One half of it was good with him doing some husky pulling along and meeting like trainer dogs and all the rest of it. And there's this other one with this weird looking dog with an underbite that's famous on Instagram with more followers than he has. And the dog really didn't like him until it did. And it was a bit like poking fun at it a bit. I don't know. The dog episode was a little bit. You could have got like you were being a bit weird with dogs, and it's like it's dogs. You kind of can't. I don't know. It's like you're either a dog person or you're not, and it was a bit like are you not? I can't because but the way he is, it's just he's so full of charisma and so energetic, and the way he does stuff. It is just how he does it, and I found watching too many episodes back to back. I did actually at the end of the third episode, I stopped and watched the other ones and was only watching one a day over because I found after the third episode, I was like, I'm getting a bit like burnt out on this. I mean, they're only about 23 to 28 minutes an episode, or feels a little bit shorter. But I'm like, 5. I really don't know why they dropped 5 at once. I think they would have been much better separating them out. That monster one would have been great over like Halloween weekends. It would have been great if they'd done the fireworks one for like July 4th and got that one out a bit earlier. But yeah, it's a good solid series. If you like the first season, you really can't go too wrong on it. It just feels like it's going to get a bit buried on Disney Plus Day, to be honest. It just feels like it's just dropping 5 episodes like that. I think how many people are going to watch it? But it's good. It is good.
I guess my question would be the thing I remember about season 1 was that there were some episodes where he was really engaged with whatever the subject of the episode was. And it really was about that. Like, I think the sneakers episode was really about sneakers, but there's some episodes where you're really just doing this so you can be eccentric Jeff Goldblum. And half of the focus of the episode is like, look at me, I'm quirky and weird. And I do weird things. And like, I know this about you. I've seen your movies. Would you say there was a lean towards one of those?
The monsters one definitely felt a little bit more like just leaning in on him, and we didn't really find out much. I did think the magic one, it played on that because Penn and Teller and the other magician, when they were doing the scenes with him, he was finding out stuff, and you could tell he was in on it and he was enjoying it because he was getting obviously tricks, and it just felt like that was a top episode. Again, I think the dogs one followed in that line of going, let's have him hanging out with dogs. It's like he's got no real interest. He's just like doing his So I definitely the fireworks one. He was there with his family watching the fireworks, and you could see that he was loving it. And you could see and with his family stuff. So there was a couple of good episodes, a couple of weeks, but they were pretty solid. I mean, like I said, the dance one was the one I found pretty weak.
So does the greatest magician in the world, Scott Lang, show up in the magic episode?
No, but Penn and Teller. I mean, I love Penn and Teller.
Penn and Teller
I absolutely love them stuff. So it's just weird seeing him older because I haven't seen him in years. Just without his, yeah.
I think Penn has lost a ton of weight since the last.
Yeah, and he's also taking a load of hair off.
I didn't know that one either.
But I know, like when we go to Vegas next year, I have been like saying to them, like, we need to go see a magic show, because I saw a magic show in Vegas 15, 20 years ago when I went there last, and it was amazing. Like, here's a motorbike and here's a white tiger, and it's like, my wife's going, I don't really like magic. You put me, I'm thinking Penn and Teller, and so yeah. So no, I love watching magic. So I think that, again, when you have an interest in something, it's a little bit easier. But yeah, that was definitely a top show. So definitely check it out. But I wouldn't be at all surprised if you kind of get lost with that one on Disney Plus Day, because you got 3 big movies dropping. So I would probably say watch Shang-Chi, Jungle Cruise, then Home Sweet Home.
Or just not watch.
Or just watch Home Alone. Yeah. But nevertheless, there we go. That is this week's episode. We'll be back next week with a post Disney Plus Day. So we will actually be talking about all the stuff that's been announced, and we'll see how much we got right. On that note, guys, thank you very much for joining us. See you guys soon. Later.
We won't get much right.
Later, guys. I'd like to thank all of our Patreon and YouTube channel members for their support. You can become a member from as little as $2 a month, and you get access to our weekly Q&A and much more.